In the past, Charmaine would be affected by Yale's cruel words, but at present, she no longer cared. "Ha, Yale. You're so pathetic." Charmaine scoffed disdainfully. "You're right. That's who I am. I hope you've not forgotten that you're the one who begged me to marry you back then. But now, you despise me. I wonder if you were blind when you first wanted to marry me." Seeing how nonsensical Charmaine had gotten, Yale ignored her and spoke to the butler instead. "Morgan, we're not short of money, so get whatever is needed for Christmas. Give me a call when Ms. Sophie arrives. I'll come over immediately." Refusing to stick around and deal with Charmaine's temper, Yale left instantly, leaving the woman on the couch. Charmaine sat there and fumed. "He's right. I must be blind last time to fall for a man like him." "Calm down, Mrs. Tanner. Every man would love their woman to talk to them tenderly. If you keep this up, you'll only end up pushing him further away." Women in today's society were not at all concerned about a man's age, and would readily open their legs for any man as long as they were wealthy enough. "Humph. I've lost him to someone else a long time ago. Anyway, just go and buy whatever you deem fit." With that said, Charmaine went upstairs, not at all interested in continuing the conversation. Behind her, the butler shook his head helplessly. The Tanner family fell apart ever since Josiah passed away. The place no longer felt like home. Soon, Isabel's concert was held on time. There were more than 10 costumes used for her stage performance, all branded and expensive. It went without saying that Felix funded her outfits, and it was undeniable that he indulged her like a father would his own daughter. At night, everyone gathered at the stadium to have dinner with Isabel. As per Felix's arrangement, all the food for the crew was catered and delivered by the Crown, which meant the dishes tasted splendid. Due to Felix's wealth and generosity, he was like the crew's lucky star, so the crew members greeted him warmly upon seeing him. They knew their lives would only change for the better as long as Isabel was dating Felix. The man opened a box of pasta for Isabel and proceeded to unwrap a single-use fork for her. "You should eat more. These are all your favorite foods." He had specially requested that the Crown prepare those dishes for her, but Isabel shook her head. "I can't eat anymore. One of the dresses is a little tight on me. I'm afraid it won't fit anymore if I keep eating." Isabel would never admit that she had gained weight, so she insisted that the dress was the wrong size. Frowning, Felix answered, "It's not your problem. You're so slim. You should eat all you want. I'll get someone to send another dress later. It's just a dress." How can she refuse to eat just because of a dress? "Do you really think so? Did I gain weight? My size has always been S. Why does it feel tight on me?" Felix quickly shook his head. "I'm absolutely sure it has nothing to do with you. It's the dress," Felix assured her. As Isabel took the food from Felix, her assistant wanted to remind her that she had indeed gained some weight lately, but as soon as the assistant met Felix's gaze, she kept her mouth shut. "I should just let this slide. After all, Isabel's a singer. It doesn't matter if she puts on weight. It's her voice that matters. She's talented, anyway." Sophie, who saw everything unfold from the side, chuckled at the sight. "Well, she did gain weight, but it's okay. She is cuter now. Besides, her face is still as pretty as always." "Sophie, you're here. Look at me. Do you think I gained weight?" Isabel was still bothered. "I've been busy practicing lately. How could I gain weight?" "No, you didn't. I think you look just fine." Everyone was lenient toward Isabel, including TS Entertainment's boss herself. Sophie did not see anything wrong with Isabel gaining weight. "See, even Sophie agrees with me. Do you believe me now?" Felix had finally found an ally. Knowing how tired Isabel was, he figured there was no way her body could take it if she did not eat properly. "All right then. The food looks delicious." After getting confirmation from everyone, Isabel stopped doubting herself and dug in. By the time the Wheelers arrived, she had already finished a whole box of pasta. When Sonny saw this, he commented, "Isabel, Have you forgotten that you're a singer? You should stop eating. You must have put on about 5.5 pounds. Clueless as he was, Sonny failed to comprehend Felix's warning glare. Isabel instantly regretted eating and stood up before turning in a circle before everybody. 5.5 pounds. She was on the verge of crying because that amount was equivalent to a huge slab of meat. I can't accept the fact that an extra 5.5 pounds of flesh has grown on me. You lied to me, Sophie. Sophie shook her head, denying. I didn't. Isabel turned to look at her assistant. Bring me a weighing scale. The assistant was stumped, for there was no way she could find a weighing scale in the middle of a stadium. Seeing this, Sophie went over and patted Isabel's cheeks. Come on. All this can wait. It's time you make some final preparations. You've been looking forward to this concert, haven't you? Isabel pouted and replied, Okay. Besides, you still look good even with the extra flesh on you. Does that mean I've really gained weight? Are you sure I still look good? Isabel was starting to lose her confidence. She had been excited about the concert for a long time, so gaining weight was the last thing she wanted to happen. There's nothing to worry about. Even if you've put on weight, you're still the best-looking Isabel, Sophie comforted. All right. With that said, Isabel went to prepare herself before the concert. While walking away with the assistant, she added, Make sure you remind me the next time you realize I gain weight, okay? At the end of the day, Isabel was still very mindful of her body weight. As a celebrity, she had to maintain her body image. How could I gain weight? This is totally unacceptable. Noted, the assistant replied. She actually wanted to tell Isabel the truth earlier on, but with Felix around, there was no way she could bring herself to do that. Meanwhile, everyone broke out laughing behind them. Sonny, let's take this outside. Felix called out at Sonny. I can't believe this guy. How dare he say that my girlfriend has put on weight? That's how I like her. What's wrong with that? In response, Sonny hid behind Sophie, seeking protection. Sophie, he's coming at me. His ego was the last thing on his mind, for all Sonny needed at that time was someone to protect him. He was certain that as long as Sophie got his back, no one present would dare to lay a finger on him. Just forgive him, Mr. Northley. He's a child after all. Sonny was instantly displeased. Hey, Sophie. If I remember correctly, I'm a few years older than you. How could you say that? I mean to say you have the IQ of a child, Sophie answered calmly. Sonny was offended by her remark. He didn't feel that he was lacking in intelligence. Instead, he saw himself as someone smart. Sophie, my results are pretty good now. I think I'll have no problem getting into a decent university. I'm serious. I feel that our lives will continue to change for the better, said Sonny earnestly. Compared to the past when his future was bleak, everything was now moving in the right direction. I'm sure of it. Mark, too, was extremely grateful to Sophie for all that she had done. All right now, it's about time we go to our seats. Isabel was born with beautiful features, exuded a natural charm, and had a stunning figure. Hence, the designer outfit Felix had prepared for her further accentuated her qualities. The moment she appeared on stage, the fans screamed hysterically. She's like an angel from heaven. I can't believe someone so pretty actually exists. Isabel's first costume was a light purple chiffon dress with a long train that made her figure look even more slender. With the music playing in the background, she gradually descended from the sky above with her dress billowing in the air. Thereafter, her gentle yet melodious voice echoed through the venue. She was able to captivate her audience without the need to scream into her microphone. From the moment Isabel emerged, Felix gaped at her as he couldn't take his eyes off her. Despite having seen her try out her costume previously, he was still mesmerized by the sight of her floating down from above. As for the rest of her fans, they couldn't help but be filled with awe. Oh my God! That's my dream wife. Who do you think you are? Have you seen yourself in the mirror? You're not worthy of her at all. She's clearly mine. Both of you should move aside. I'm the one whom she truly belongs to. Can you all shut up? We're here to enjoy her concert, not listen to you lot arguing. Verily, Isabel had become the focal point of everyone's attention the instant she descended from the sky. While admiring the scene, Felix was worried for her safety, as the swing she was on was suspended by only wires. Is the swing safe? Felix asked in a concerned tone. Sophie was at a loss for words. She knew that Felix was meticulous when it came to matters regarding Isabel, but worrying over the swing was unnecessary. After all, it had been checked and tested many times to prove that it could support a few £100 in weight. Moreover, Isabel didn't even weigh more than £100. Don't worry. It will be fine. Can't you just enjoy the concert? Why must you ask such a scary question? Okay. Tristan held Sophie's hand abruptly. Ignore that idiot. He throws reason out the window when it comes to anything related to Isabel. Felix didn't mind Tristan's contemptuous comment about him at all. My concerns are valid, all right? Didn't we read about actors falling off their wires in the news before? Besides, if it were Sophie sitting up there instead of Isabel, you would be equally anxious. Meanwhile, Isabel belted out one song after another. As singing was her passion, she gave her all throughout the entire concert. Beyond her exceptional voice, her constant costume changes made the event a feast for the senses. I can't believe how good her voice is. Also, the costume designs blow my mind. Exactly. Our idol is not to be underestimated. She must have found a rich boyfriend. I don't think TS Entertainment has the capability to organize a concert of such a scale. Damn it, how can you look down upon TS Entertainment? Do you know how popular they are right now? Not only do they have Cecilia Lance and the Wheelers in their stable, but they also have our idol, Isabel. On top of that, the company made huge profits last year. There's no reason to underestimate them at all. Can you guys keep it down? Felix, admiring his girlfriend's performance, was naturally upset with the incessant chatter behind him. Who do you think you are? What right do you have to police us? We can do whatever we want, as we paid for our tickets too. What's wrong with this guy? In that case, would you get out of here if I refunded your tickets? Felix questioned arrogantly, for money was one thing he was never short of. They should just disappear from his sight since they upset him. Felix, that's enough. No matter what, they are still Isabel's fans. With that, Felix let the matter slide on Sophie's account. What's wrong with them? Do they actually think they're worthy of being Isabel's husband? They should look at themselves in the mirror first. Damn it. This is the problem with Isabel being a celebrity. Back on stage, Isabel had re-emerged after completing another costume change. She looked exceptionally dazzling on that very night. Previously, Isabel was still a budding rose. Now that she was in full bloom, her beauty intoxicated everyone who set eyes on her. Meanwhile, William and Lincoln were also at the concert. The sight of his beautiful daughter on stage brought Lincoln a sense of pride. Although he had objected vehemently to her decision in the past, watching her performing on stage happily was enough to gratify him. Truth be told, he would have supported her regardless of her decision. Although it was not going to be easy being a celebrity, he felt that it was worth it as long as she was happy. Dad, I've never imagined that my daughter would have such a glorious moment, Lincoln said emotionally. Me too. Isabel is all grown up now, while age has caught up to me. I can still remember how little Isabel was back then. And now, she has become an adult. What are you talking about, Dad? You're not old at all. Lincoln poured a cup of coffee for his father. Sophie had arranged for a private room for them which had an excellent view of the concert. William subsequently took a sip of coffee. You've all left me after growing up, he then lamented. If only they could grow up slower. That way, I'll get to spend more time with them. Dad, we have always taken time out to visit you every week despite our busy schedules. Lincoln was cognizant that his father, just like other elderly folks, needed reassurance once in a while. I know. At that moment, Even though the concert had only reached its midpoint at slightly past 10, it was already past William's bedtime. "Dad, shall I get the driver to send you home? You should get some rest, as it's already late," said Lincoln. The journey from the venue back to the mansion would take 1 hour. "I feel like staying a little longer." Since his entire family was there, William was reluctant to leave. It's just like what Lincoln had said. Isabel must be delighted right now to have finally achieved success. All of a sudden, William felt a sense of discomfort. Wondering if it was due to sitting too long, he figured that he should get up to stretch. However, the moment he did, he dropped to his knees abruptly. Shocked by the sudden turn of events, Lincoln sprang to his feet to help William back up onto the couch. "Dad, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? How did this suddenly happen?" William was unable to say a word as his heart palpitated furiously. "Dad, don't worry. I'll send you to the hospital right away. Everything will be fine." Lincoln's heart sank. Just as he was about to call for the ambulance, William stopped him. "Don't call for the ambulance. Isabel mustn't know. I don't want to spoil her big day." As he was there to provide her with moral support, he didn't want to ruin her concert. "We can't do that. Your condition is serious. Sophie knows medicine. Just get her to come over." He had heard a lot about Sophie's capabilities from Isabel. "But, Dad, Sophie is just a student. How can you?" "Enough. Just do as I say. I don't want to disrupt Isabel's concert." Everyone knew how important the event was to Isabel. Given how much effort she had put into her preparation, there was no way they could bring themselves to spoil it. "All right. I'll send someone to get her." Knowing how stubborn his father could be, Lincoln resignedly sent his driver to summon Sophie over. The moment the driver found Sophie, Tristan, who was present, immediately knew what happened. "Let's go." At William's age, health issues were unavoidable. Thus, they had no time to lose. As for the others, they didn't think much of Sophie and Tristan's departure and continued enjoying the concert. They figured that the couple would have informed them if it was something important. Upon arriving at William's private room, Sophie examined him and was relieved that it wasn't anything serious. "Don't worry. It's no big deal. It's probably caused by the excitement. That's why it's a bad idea for the elderly to attend concerts." "Are you sure? Should we take him to the hospital?" Lincoln remained unconvinced. "Relax, he's fine." After Sophie gave William a quick massage, the color quickly returned to the old man's face. Lincoln was finally relieved after seeing that. "Old Mr. Lombard, it's getting late. I'll get someone to send you home. He should get some rest. At his age, he can no longer stay up late like us youngsters." "Okay." After the incident, William didn't dare refuse, as Isabel would be devastated if anything happened to him that night. The last thing he wanted was for her to be sad. "Now that I'm fine, both of you should head back. Isabel would be worried if all of us left together." William didn't want the two to follow him home. "Dad, why are you still worried about the concert in your condition?" Tristan was annoyed. "Can't he just rest at home? Why must he insist on attending the concert at his age?" "Of course I'm worried about Isabel. She's my favorite after all. That's why I don't want to see her sad. All grandparents will dote on their grandchildren. It's only natural." "Lincoln, please send Dad home. I'll return with Isabel once the concert is over." "This should do, right?" "Okay. I'll leave with Dad then." Lincoln was worried that something untoward would happen if they continued to remain there. Thus, it would be prudent to get the family doctor to give William another examination once they were home. On their way home, Lincoln kept asking William how he was feeling to the extent of irritating the latter. "Didn't I tell you that I'm fine? Why are you being so naggy? You're a grown man, for goodness sake. I'm just worried about you. Do you know how scary it was to see you turn pale just now? Why am I accused of being naggy? I'm fine. I feel much better after Sophie's massage." She does live up to her reputation as a student at the University of Medicine. Do you really not want me to call the family doctor? Lincoln was still worried. No matter how good Sophie is, she's still an inexperienced student. Didn't I just tell you that I'm fine? There's no need to summon the family doctor at all. All right. If you feel any discomfort, you have to tell me right away. The family doctor stays next door after all. He can come at short notice if necessary. By the time Sophie and Tristan returned to their seats, the concert had reached its climax. The Wheelers had gone on stage to present Isabel with flowers. However, the sight of the ecstatic Isabel triggered a salty sensation within Felix. I've done so much for her, but she's never smiled so vibrantly before me. Just look at how brightly she's smiling when the Wheelers are just handing her some flowers. How outrageous. Frankly, he was jealous. Meanwhile, the fans burst into an uproar. Oh my goodness. I can't believe how compatible Isabel and Mark are standing side by side with each other. Exactly. I might be seeing things, but is Mark looking at her affectionately? Do you think they're dating in secret? The relentless gossip almost overwhelmed Felix with jealousy. Nevertheless, he knew that he had no choice but to control his temper, for it was Isabel's concert after all. Back on stage, Isabel requested excitedly, "My idol, can I sing a duet with you?" That had always been Isabel's dream. Of course you can. How can I bring myself to say no to someone as adorable as you? Mark flashed her a doting smile. Truth be told, Mark's warm attitude toward Isabel was because of his feelings toward Sophie. Sophie was truly fond of Isabel, so it was only natural that Mark was nice to her, too. Anything that was important to Sophie was just as important to him. Although the duet they were about to sing wasn't part of the program, and they had never rehearsed it before, both of them had no problems performing it on the spot as professionals. Moreover, with the Wheelers' support, they brought life to the song. Consequently, the fans were exhilarated. As they had bought the concert tickets expecting to only see Isabel, they felt that they had gotten more of their money's worth with a bonus performance by the Wheelers. It wasn't until the concert was over and all the fans had left that Isabel finally relaxed. Subsequently, Sophie approached her with a big bouquet of flowers. Congratulations, Isabel. Your concert today was a phenomenal success. You have finally achieved everything that you wanted. Sophie beamed with pride. This is the result of all the effort she had put in for the entire year. Isabel received the flowers and gave Sophie a bear hug. Despite feeling exhausted after the concert, Isabel was elated. My grandpa came, right? It's so late now. Has he gone home? She was thrilled because everyone attended her concert that day. He's old, so he went back halfway through the concert, but he did compliment you for your outstanding skills and say he's proud of you. That's great. I'm so happy today, Sophie. Isabel grinned from ear to ear. Mark and the others walked over as well. You've matured significantly, Isabel, and you're now a qualified singer. She had managed the pace of the concert perfectly. Mark reckoned she would become a legendary figure in the future. Isabel was still young, so endless possibilities were awaiting her hereafter. Isabel was enraptured after hearing that. Thank you. Isabel was on cloud nine for having the chance to perform alongside her idol and be praised by the latter. That night, everyone went to have supper together. Felix insisted on treating everyone, so the others took up his offer. Considering his relationship with Isabel, it was only natural for him to foot the bill. Since he was going to treat such a huge party, not to mention a group consisting of so many singers, he decided to bring them to a high-class restaurant. Under normal circumstances, the restaurant should have been closed at such a late hour. However, Felix called to place an advanced booking. As a result, some employees stayed back to serve them at the restaurant. The scrumptious food had already been served, so Felix and the others could dig in upon arrival. This concert is a success because of your help. I would like to make a toast to all of you. Cheers. Isabel, who was in a good mood, downed her drink at once. The staff members responded by saying that was their obligation. Felix had ordered his subordinates to prepare monetary gifts to distribute to all the staff members. TS Entertainment had already given the staff members a considerable amount of monetary gifts for organizing a concert, so the staff members were a little taken aback to receive yet another monetary gift. After all, it was customary for them to work overtime in the entertainment industry, so it was nothing worth rewarding for. Please accept the gifts, everyone. Mr. Northley, I shall thank you on behalf of everyone then, said Sophie. The sum was insignificant to Felix. Moreover, the money could also raise the staff members' spirits. Everybody gladly received the monetary gifts since their boss had said so. Felix had also prepared a gift specially for Isabel. She was deeply touched by his gesture. He was just as exhausted as she was lately. Felix stayed up late with her for many nights, waiting for her to finish her rehearsals regardless of how late they ended. Naturally, she acknowledged and appreciated his efforts. Felix, thank you for always staying by my side. I love you, Isabel announced boldly. She didn't care even if she might lose some followers after her fans knew she had a boyfriend. She wanted to declare her love to Felix no matter what. In response, he cupped her cheeks and kissed the corner of her lips. I love you too. I love you very, very much. My love for her would last a lifetime. Taking in their sweet interaction, Tristan and Sophie silently held hands, got to their feet, and sneaked out. Sophie stretched her stiff muscles after exiting the restaurant. Let's go and visit old Mr. Lombard. She knew Tristan was still worried about William since the latter was up in years. That's not necessary. Lincoln contacted me earlier and said Dad is fine. He's asleep now, so even if we go back, we'll only disturb his rest. William had always been healthy. He probably fell ill because he was too tired. I'm glad to hear that. You should spend more time with him whenever you're free. After what happened to Tanner, Sophie genuinely felt one should spend more time with their elders when one had the chance because the future held too many uncertainties. One would never know how much time they had left with their elders. Okay. I got it. That's how Dad is. He seems pitiful when I don't go back home to spend time with him. But whenever I get home, we'll start arguing again. Tristan and Sophie returned to the mansion. At that moment, Isabel called. Evidently, Isabel was high after consuming alcohol. She muttered on the other end of the line. Sophie, let me tell you. You must be careful. Uncle Tristan has been lusting after you all along. All men are jerks. You need to be very careful, do you hear me? No matter what, Sophie was her best friend, so Isabel didn't want to see Sophie get hurt. A smile graced Sophie's lips. Sophie, why aren't you saying anything? I'm talking to you. Are you annoyed by me? Do you think I'm a nuisance? I'm indeed incompetent and would only cause endless trouble to the people around me. Is Sophie starting to hate me too? Felix wanted to stop Isabel from uttering those words. Unfortunately, Isabel was rather stubborn and aggressive when she was drunk, so he couldn't restrain her at all. That's enough, Isabel. You've drunk too much. I'm bringing you home now. You should get some rest. Although he loved her, he couldn't help but find her drunken behavior frightening. Felix finally brought her to the car with much difficulty, but she hopped out of the car the next second, moving as agile as a monkey. Sophie, where are you now? I'll go and meet you. What do you say? It's very late now. There's no need for you to come to meet me. Just go back and get some rest. Sophie believed Felix could take good care of her. Felix treated Isabel with utmost patience, seemingly willing to handle whatever mess she made. But I'm so happy today. I don't feel like sleeping. Go to a karaoke if you don't want to sleep. Tristan was not going to let his girlfriend be another person's nanny, not even if that person was Isabel. He would never allow something like that to happen. Uncle Tristan? Felix, what should I do? I think I heard Uncle Tristan's voice. Why is Sophie hanging out with him? Felix took the phone from her. Don't worry, I'll take care of her. Felix hung up the call after saying that. Seeing how drunk she was, He didn't dare to send Isabel back to the Lombard residence. Therefore, he could only bring her back to his mansion. However, at the thought of how bedeviling Isabel could be when she was drunk, Felix had a feeling that it was going to be an unpleasant night. Unfortunately, he had fallen in love with her, so he had to take good care of her no matter what. "Isabel is drunk," Sophie uttered casually. "Don't worry. Felix is there to care for her even if she's drunk, so you can just leave her be." Felix and Isabel were in the honeymoon phase of their relationship. Hence, it was understandable even if something were to happen between them. After all, they were living in the modern 21st century. He leaned close to her, allowing her to sense his male pheromones and masculine presence clearly. In fact, Sophie had a fatal weakness of being easily captivated by Tristan. "Okay, I get it. Can you give me some space? With you this close, I'm a little..." However, before she could finish her sentence, her lips were assaulted by a flurry of kisses that showed that he was more than eager to make her all his. The man wanted to be the only person on her mind and hated the fact that she was always distracted by others. There was nothing Sophie could do to stop Tristan as her body went completely limp. She was completely defenseless against him. "Stop spending so much time worrying about Isabel. What you should be doing is figuring out what kind of wedding you want. You only get to do this once. I don't want you to have any regrets. Do you understand?" questioned Tristan, who found it difficult to control himself when he saw how Sophie's lips had turned wet after his kisses. At that moment, he wanted nothing more than to make love with her right then and there. Tristan's urge was so strong that he could not think about anything else. He was convinced that no one could understand how eager and desperate he was. "I think the wedding is just a process. There's really no need to spend too much time and energy on it. Anything decent will do." Sophie knew they were both busy and had many things to tend to, so she did not think they should waste too much time on the wedding. However, Tristan was not happy to hear that. "We only marry once in a lifetime, so how can we just make light of it? Even if our wedding isn't the most enjoyable, it has to be unforgettable." There was no way Tristan would settle for a perfunctory wedding. "I must give her what she deserves." "Then why don't you tell me what kind of wedding you want?" Sophie did not expect that Tristan would care so much about the wedding. He didn't seem like someone who would fuss over such details. "How do you feel about a castle? Maybe a church? Whatever you want, I'll make it come true." To Tristan, Sophie's feelings were what mattered most. "Isabel and the others think a traditional wedding is nice. Maybe we should go with that." "A traditional wedding? I suppose that's a pretty good choice. You'll be the most beautiful bride in the world when you put on a traditional wedding dress." Tristan was sure that Sophie would look stunning no matter what she wore because she was nothing if not gorgeous. Since Sophie said she wanted a traditional wedding, Tristan approached the most well-known tailor in Gypsdale the next day because he wanted only the best for his woman. After all, the tailor's ancestors specialized in designing traditional wedding headdresses and dresses for royals. When the tailor realized that it was Tristan who required his service, he immediately got to work. "Mr. Tristan, this is my latest design. There's nothing in the world that looks like it. It'll be breathtaking when I'm done with it." "No, it'll be out of this world," exclaimed the tailor with a satisfied grin. "I'll take it." Tristan knew that was the headdress he wanted the second he laid eyes on the draft. Even though Tristan only saw the design for the headdress, he could already imagine how magnificent Sophie would look with it. "I'll do my best to design the rest of the outfit to go with the headdress as soon as possible. You can let me know what you think by then, and we'll go from there," stated the tailor. "Sure." Although the wedding was still a year away, Tristan had already begun to prepare for the traditional wedding Sophie wanted. Tristan did not think it was necessary for Sophie to worry about the preparation, for all she had to do was prepare herself to be his beautiful wife. After gazing at the traditional red wedding dresses in front of him, Tristan was even more confident that holding a traditional wedding was the right decision. With her snow-white skin, Sophie will look incredible in a traditional wedding dress. Despite the fact that it was almost Christmas and that Sophie did not have much to do at the medical association, she still woke up on time instead of sleeping in because of her impeccable body clock. What she did not expect was that Tristan had left the mansion early in the morning. Knowing that there was a Lombard Group annual party that evening, Sophie decided to let Tristan focus on his business. The housekeeper had already prepared breakfast when Sophie got out of bed. "You were so busy before this, Ms. Tanner. Now that you finally have some time to yourself, you should have a good rest," uttered the housekeeper, who thought all youngsters enjoyed sleeping in. "I guess Ms. Tanner is an exception. I've had enough rest. Where's Mr. Tristan? Where did he go this early in the morning? It still feels weird to not see him around when I wake up. Mr. Tristan said he had to go out because he had matters to tend to. He instructed us to prepare breakfast for you, but didn't say where he was heading." "Okay, I understand." Sophie then read the newspaper while slowly having her breakfast. Although she did not feel like eating in the morning, she knew she could not just drink milk, so she had a piece of bread too. When the housekeeper saw that, she could not help but wonder if the meal she had prepared was not to Sophie's liking. "Do you not like the breakfast we prepared for you, Ms. Tanner? If so, we can get you something else." Sophie shook her head in response since she was aware that she simply did not have the appetite. "You don't have to do that. It's just that I'm not used to having breakfasts." "You can't skip breakfast, Ms. Tanner. Young people like you need to learn to take good care of your health," said the housekeeper out of concern when she realized the young woman was not as aloof as she seemed. "Okay." Sophie was not averse to the housekeeper's concern. That was how she always treated others. Even though she seemed distant, anyone who had interacted with her knew she was easy to get along with. When Sophie was still conversing with the housekeeper, Tristan suddenly returned. "Why didn't you sleep in?" inquired Tristan, joining the woman still in her pajamas at the dining table. "I've slept enough." "Where did you go this early in the morning?" asked Sophie curiously. Now that Christmas is just around the corner, there shouldn't be much to do at Lombard Group. "I had some matters to attend to." Tristan was not ready to tell Sophie about his preparations just yet, so he joined her for breakfast instead. When Tristan got the tailor's contact information early that morning, he immediately went over. The tailor was still asleep when Tristan arrived. It could not be helped because Tristan was so excited that he refused to wait any longer. "You're not hiding something from me, are you?" questioned Sophie while eating. Tristan smiled in amusement. "Relax. I'm not going to betray you in any way. I simply don't have the heart to do that." "She can relax." "You're right." Sophie did not care what Tristan was up to as long as he was happy. "Get changed. We're going out." After breakfast, Tristan pulled Sophie up from her chair and carried her in his arms. In turn, Sophie wrapped her arms around the man's neck. "Where are we going?" "He seems to be in a good mood today. But isn't Lombard Group's annual party tonight?" "Don't worry. It's not like I'm going to sell you off. Just go and get changed," Tristan said with a chuckle. "All right," Sophie replied. He carried her to the bed, sat her down there, then went to the walk-in closet to get her outfit. It was clear that he had already picked what she was to wear that day. "Tristan has a good eye, and I trust his taste in picking an outfit for me. However, why has he already taken the time to pick what I'll wear? What on earth has he got planned?" Despite her confusion, she did not ask any questions. She merely looked at the clothes he laid out on the bed and said, "You can go out now. How am I going to get changed if you don't leave?" "I'll just turn around." With that, he turned so that he faced away from her but showed no intention of leaving. Hence, she had no choice but to gather the clothes in her arms and go to the walk-in closet. The closet was spacious enough for her to get dressed inside. Tristan had a hat and scarf in his hands by the time she had changed. When he saw her walk out, he immediately helped her put them on. "Where are we going?" Sophie asked, noting that they were in matching couple outfits. For some reason, he had been very interested in matching outfits recently. "We're going to Horrington." His reply left her dumbstruck. "Isn't your company having its annual party tonight?" "Why are we going to Horrington?" she inquired. "There's nothing we need to do in Horrington. And won't we be in a hurry to rush back for the annual party if we head there now? It's fine. We'll just come back tonight, Tristan responded. The party takes place every year, so even if we don't make it back in time, it doesn't matter. Besides, there are other members of senior management in the company. It's not like I'm the only one. They can get on without me, can't they? All right. As long as it makes you happy. Since she was not busy with anything recently, she decided to accompany him to do anything and go anywhere he wished. When Isabel called Sophie, the couple was already at the airport and about to board their flight. What? The two of you are flying to Horrington? Whatever for? Isabel was puzzled. It's nearly Christmas, and there's nothing all that interesting in Horrington, so why are they going there? I don't have a clue. Your uncle wants to go. Since it's something he wants to do, naturally, I'll go with him. I didn't ask much. Can I come along? The concert is over, and I've nothing else to do now, so I'll just go and join you guys. Before Sophie could respond, Tristan took the phone from her. Isabel Lombard, can you stop being a third wheel all the time and give us some space? After saying that, he ended the call. Isabel suddenly felt lonely and unwanted as she listened to the dial tone. Am I just a third wheel? I'm his beloved niece, aren't I? How could he shun me like that? Would they have been able to get together so easily if it hadn't been for me? I let the fact that he didn't thank me slide, but now he's shutting me out. That's too much. Just then, Felix walked in. His heart ached when he saw her looking so miserable. What's the matter? Who bullied you? If anyone dares to bully you, just let me know. I'll deal with that person personally. He was not about to stand by idly and watch her get hurt. Felix, Uncle Tristan called me a third wheel. How could he be so mean? Felix gazed at her without saying a word. So, it was Mr. Tristan. Now that I think about it, that makes sense. He's the only person who'd dare to do that. No one else would dare to bully the Lombard family's precious little princess. Isabel, we need to talk about that. Mr. Tristan is a young, hot-blooded man, and Sophie is a woman he likes a lot. It'll be inconvenient for him if you hang around them all the time, so you should be good and stay by my side. Wouldn't it be nice for us to have some alone time? She grabbed the pillow next to her and threw it at him. Is that the only thing guys think about all day? She demanded. Sophie is still so young, and she's so pure and innocent. Uncle Tristan is basically a scumbag. What's wrong? It's normal for guys to feel that way toward the woman they like. If a guy didn't feel anything, that'd be a big problem, okay? He answered, stunned by her words. How does such a pure and innocent young lady still exist in this day and age? Fuming, Isabel jumped off the bed and reached for the clothes he had already prepared for her. Well, you're better off spending all the alone time you want with your dog. I'm going home. She wanted to get changed, but since Felix was there, she could only glare at him angrily. Why are you in such a hurry to go home? It's the holidays, and you've wrapped up your concert already. Just stay here and spend a couple of days with me, okay? He said, thinking about how she had been so busy recently that she had not spent much time with him. No, that's not okay. I should go home. If my grandfather discovers I'm here with you, he'll break your legs for sure. He fell silent. There was no denying that William was a scary man indeed. But we can't keep him in the dark forever, right? He felt it was only a matter of time before William found out about their relationship. Then he added, if I really end up getting crippled, will you still love me? Shaking her head immediately, Isabel replied, no. If that happens, I'll dump you at the drop of a hat and find myself another young and handsome hunk. He stared at her wordlessly. How heartless. I really don't know what I'm going to do about her. Meanwhile, Tristan and Sophie had already boarded their plane. He held her hand the whole time with their fingers interlaced, reluctant to let go for even a second. Tristan, do you think we would have still met if you hadn't gone to Horrington back then? She could not help wondering if they would still be as happy as they were now if they were not in each other's lives. Of course. Tristan answered. I dare not think what would have happened otherwise. And I'm glad I went to Horrington and wound up meeting Sophie after getting tricked. The whole incident started on an unpleasant note. After all, I nearly died because someone plotted against me, and I hate falling into traps. However, I got to know her because of that, so it did turn out to be a good thing after all. Anyway, are you seriously not going to let me know what we're going to do there? She asked. Although the plane had already taken off, she still had no clue about the reason for their trip to Horrington. I just suddenly had the urge to head there and take a look around. Besides, it's not like we have anything better to do. Is he for real? Lombard Group's annual party is tonight. Is it really all right if he, the CEO, isn't present? It was less than an hour's flight from Gypsdale to Horrington. Upon touching down in Horrington, they realized the place was much warmer than Gypsdale and that they had worn too many layers. How could I have forgotten it isn't cold during winters in Horrington? She remarked while removing her hat and scarf. It has been a while since I was last here. Thinking about it now, everything that happened here seems like a dream. The city became a place of warmth and love because of Tristan. This was not the first time that Tristan and Sophie visited Horrington. They were here before too. However, they both came for different reasons previously. And now, Sophie did not know why Tristan had brought her here. When Tristan brought Sophie to the training camp's headquarters, she was slightly surprised. Have you ever been to this training camp before? In Horrington, there was a training camp run by a former member of the Special Forces. Anyone who comes out of this training camp will be a remarkable person. Yet, the man did not expect her to have attended this training camp. Even money could not get one into this highly exclusive camp. To enter this special training camp, one had to pass a series of tests. Only those qualified would be admitted. In truth, the days spent in the training camp were very tough. Despite the fact that it was extremely challenging, those who were admitted could only grit their teeth and endure the grueling training. Only then, they'd be able to finish the process. Sophie joined the special training camp by chance. Yeah, I have been here before, she replied. Tristan drove toward the training camp. Under normal circumstances, their car would not be allowed in. However, after seeing the man behind the wheels, the soldier saluted and let them through immediately. It had not been a long time since Sophie visited the training camp since she left. However, she was not surprised by the current situation. After all, Tristan was a man with many secrets. After the camp commander found out I was here, he insisted that I visit him. He said there were new research findings and wanted to show them to me. You don't mind, do you? He explained. Sophie shook her head. In the past, when she trained at the training camp, she felt particularly miserable. At one point, she really thought she would die there. But now that she had returned, she felt rather warm and homey. She wouldn't be who she was if she hadn't spent nearly a year in this place. Nor would she have met Tristan, the most important man in her life. Along the way, there were many people training intensely. A smile appeared on Sophie's lips when she saw them being tortured by instructors. You should go and look for the camp commander. I'll hang around here, Sophie said when she saw a familiar face. Okay. Remember to find me when you're ready. Tristan had to look for the camp commander, who had something important to share. Don't worry. I know where you are. I'll find you later, the woman assured. She knew everything in the camp like the back of her hand after spending a year there. Okay. Tristan knew she had been at the camp before, so he wasn't surprised by her answer. After all, she was not an ordinary person to begin with. Sophie got off the vehicle and walked straight toward the captain, who was training the team. Honestly, I know you guys are weak, but I never thought you would be this weak. The captain shouted at the students in the mud. I know what you guys are thinking. Don't think that just because you're in, you can graduate easily. Let me tell you, if you can't pass the final assessment, I won't let you graduate. You guys are too polite to them. Start practicing. As soon as the captain finished speaking, the students who were trying to crawl out of the mud pit were once again washed down with water by the people standing above. It was a complete rush down, as the water pipe used was clearly a fire hose and the students were completely powerless against such a strong impact. "Looks like you're still the same." Sophie smiled as she saw the captain's fierce attitude. The middle-aged man heard the familiar voice and turned around, only to see a face that was rather unforgettable. "Is that you, Sophie?" he exclaimed. Back in the days at the training camp, Sophie was a legendary figure. While she started out as a feeble young girl, she eventually graduated with the highest grade. In fact, the record she set was still not broken to date. She was a girl who left her mark on the training camp's history. "Yeah, I came back to have a look," Sophie replied. "I heard you're studying at the University of Medicine at Gypsdale. I think someone like you should just join the army." "What's the point of studying?" the captain said in dissatisfaction. The woman was the most gifted individual he had ever trained. He felt proud to have made her outstanding. "Do you have time to chat?" Sophie knew he was busy, but it was a rare opportunity to meet him. "Of course." The captain instructed the assistant coach to continue the training. "Train them hard, don't spare them. If you go easy on them now, you're just spoiling them." At this point, the students in the mud pit really hated the captain. "Is he insane? How could there be such a cruel person? He's forcing us to soak in the mud pit in such cold weather. Life here is really unbearable." The captain and Sophie then left together. "Captain, you're still the same as before," she remarked. "Well, didn't you hate me back then?" He was indeed a ruthless trainer. As a man with real battle experiences, he knew how cruel war could be. On the battlefield, no one would show any mercy. After all, it was a matter of life and death. "To be honest, I did hate you at that time. I wished I could kill you." The captain was known to be a tough trainer who showed no mercy and was very rough with his words. Hence, there were many people who disliked him. "I truly think that it's a pity that you didn't join the army. With your talent, you would definitely have a bright future if you joined the army," he said. "Captain, I'm quite satisfied with my current life. If the country needs me, I will definitely not hesitate to serve." The truth was Sophie was a preacher of no war, just peace. After entering the captain's office, he showed her the training program. "Take a look and see if there's anything to improve on." Although these students had been specially handpicked for the program, only 20% of them could successfully graduate. Hence, their training and assessment had to be very strict. Sophie examined the program intently and gave constructive suggestions. The captain was very satisfied with her ideas. He said with a tinge of regret, "Although you didn't follow my plan, your abilities are undoubtedly top-notch. You would have been the uncrowned champion. It's so rare of you to come back for a visit, so why don't we have dinner together tonight?" The captain really liked Sophie and had always treated her as his little sister. "Perhaps another day. I need to return to Gypsdale today," she replied apologetically. "What brings you to Horrington? If there's anything you need my help with, don't hesitate to ask. You don't have to feel bad." The captain was actually very generous and always willing to help whenever he could. "Really? I'm fine. If I weren't, I would have definitely told you," Sophie exclaimed. "Fine," Dylan said exasperatedly. Since Sophie put it that way, it was not a good idea for Dylan to persist. After all, Sophie could now handle difficult situations on her own. There were no problems at all. "Captain Green, are you still looking for your daughter?" That was the reason Sophie came looking for him. A few years ago, Dylan's only daughter was kidnapped by a criminal gang. His wife was also brutally murdered. Others would feel sympathetic when they thought of what Dylan had been through. Dylan nodded when he heard Sophie mention his daughter. "Yes. I believe my daughter is still alive. She must be waiting for me to rescue her." Although many years had passed, he had never given up looking for her. Sophie had always known about Dylan's determination. She had been paying attention to the case and helping him all these years. However, despite her efforts and connections, she did not succeed. It was as if Dylan's daughter had disappeared into thin air. There wasn't a single clue about her whereabouts. All right. Don't look at me like that. I'm doing fine now. He could only continue to spend his time and focus on work to make him forget about the pain of the past. Okay. Sophie was not used to comforting others. Hence, she did not know what else to say to him. I'll get some people to help you look for her. There had to be some closure for him, whether his daughter was alive or not. As the two of them were immersed in their conversation, Sophie's phone suddenly rang. Come here. The camp commander said he wanted to see you. Tristan's deep and sexy voice could be heard from the other end of the phone. All right. I got it. I'll head over right now. A smile appeared on Sophie's lips as she hung up the phone. Who was that? Dylan asked curiously. He had never seen such a gentle expression on Sophie's face before. My boyfriend. Come on. I'll introduce him to you. With that, Sophie led Dylan toward the camp commander's office. Sophie, don't you dare try to scare me. Are you telling me that your boyfriend is the camp commander? Absolutely not. Although he isn't married yet, he's old enough to be your father. Sophie was at a loss for words. Captain Green, what a creative imagination you have. When did I ever say that the camp commander is my boyfriend? She hoped Tristan did not hear what Dylan said. Tristan and the camp commander were chatting when Sophie and Dylan arrived at the office. They finished discussing business and made small talk while waiting for Dylan and Sophie. Dylan, come and see who's here. Dylan was shocked when he saw that it was Tristan. Could he be Sophie's boyfriend? Please don't tell me you're Sophie's boyfriend. Indeed. Only someone like Tristan was suited for Sophie. That's right. I'm her boyfriend. What's up? Do you have anything against it? Not only am I her boyfriend, but I'm also her fiancé. Just what kind of tone is he using to talk to me? Are you kidding me, Tristan? How can you lay your hands on such a sweet young girl? Tristan was speechless. Dylan, it's been a while since we fought, right? Let's have a go at it right now. What does he mean by me touching such a sweet young girl? Am I that old? Dylan shook his head. That's not what I meant. Forget it. I don't want to fight you. This is Sophie's boyfriend. What would I do if I injured him? The camp commander watched as the two of them argued with one another. Oh boy. They're always like this whenever they meet each other. He shook his head as a grin crept onto his lips. Sophie, I didn't expect your boyfriend to be Tristan. Tristan and the others were friends. To be more specific, they were sworn brothers. Long time no see, camp commander. Back then, if the camp commander had not discovered Sophie and brought her back to camp, she would not have survived. Hence, she was grateful to the camp commander for the gift of life. Yes, indeed, it has been a while since we met. Geez. You left after saying you would do so. You never even thought of coming back to visit us. Haha. I'll return more often to visit you all in the future then, Sophie said with a smile. Since you're here, let's have dinner together. I'll treat you, the camp commander suggested. Tristan immediately rejected his offer. It's all right. We have something to attend to tonight, so we can't have dinner with you. Let's take a rain check on it. Sophie thought he was talking about the annual party of Lombard Group, so it was only natural that she had no other opinions. Okay. Please go ahead with your plan then. The camp commander also did not want to force them to stay behind. Dylan thought it was a pity. After all, it had been some time since Sophie returned to the camp. Plus, he also knew that Sophie had been helping him look for his daughter all this while. Although there were no leads at the moment, he would remember the help she had provided. Sophie, words can't express how grateful I am to you. Let me know if you need help in the future. You can also tell me if he bullies you. Dylan had always treated Sophie as his sister. Hence, he did not wish to see anyone bully her. Hey, Dylan. Are you done? You should mind your own business, Tristan said curtly. Why would I bully her? I feel like all the time in the world is insufficient for me to spoil her. How will I ever bully her? Go ahead with your work then, Captain Green and Camp Commander. It's been a while since I've been back. I want to take a walk around. Sophie exclaimed. After all, this was the place I trained for a year. Sure. Go ahead. Although there were a few changes in the place, it still looked similar. They had no reason to stop her from taking a look either. Okay. Oh, right. When the time comes, please attend our wedding, Tristan said proudly when he remembered that he and Sophie would get married soon. He could not help but feel smug about it. I'm sure no one understands this kind of feeling, right? Of course. Don't worry. If the time comes, we'll make time to attend no matter how busy we are. After all, their wedding was not something that anyone could show up if they wanted to. Tristan held onto Sophie's hand after they left the camp commander's office. You and Dylan seem to have a good relationship, said Tristan. Yeah. He used to be my instructor. He could also be considered Sophie's mentor. Although she had left the camp, she was still worried about Dylan. I see. I've also been looking for his daughter but have no leads or clues. I'm afraid something tragic might have befallen her. It might seem that Tristan always argued with Dylan. He was very sympathetic toward Dylan, especially with what the latter had gone through. He was not one to feel sympathetic toward others. However, what Dylan had gone through was terrible. Hence, Tristan always sent people to keep looking for Dylan's daughter. Yet, there was no progress. It was cruel for a father to go through such a thing. Dylan watched his wife die a tragic death. He also did not know his daughter's whereabouts, nor did he know if she was still alive. Exactly. But no news could also mean good news. If his daughter is still alive, then they're bound to meet again in the future. Even if we can't find her, as long as she's still alive, it'll still be a form of consolation for Captain Green. All right. Let's stop thinking about that. We can only do our best to help him. Tristan and Sophie could only do what they could. The rest was up to fate. After all, there was nothing anyone could do to change Dylan or his daughter's fates. There were times like this when nothing would go the way one planned. Okay. It had been a long time since Sophie went to the training camp. She suddenly asked, Mr. Tristan, we haven't sparred against one another before, right? Why don't we give it a go? A confident smile appeared on Sophie's lips. Sophie suddenly felt that all the hardships and pain she had endured had vanished when they arrived at the place she had previously done her training. Tristan slung an arm around her shoulders and walked forward. He shook his head and said, No, I can't bear to do it. He was unwilling to be on her opposing side, even if it was a casual fight. All right, then. They walked around the training camp for a little longer. Tristan and Sophie left when it was getting dark. Are we in time to attend the party if we head back now? Lombard Group's annual party should have started already. We're not going back tonight. We'll return tomorrow instead. Tristan had something else planned. Why? Do you have something else to take care of here? Go ahead if you do. I'll wait for you at the hotel. It's nothing. I just want to explore the area. All right, let's not talk about that and go have dinner. They were at the training camp for a long time and had not eaten. Okay. As they arrived at the restaurant, the smile on Sophie's lips grew wider when she noticed the romantic ambience. There were even candles on the tables. It looks like he's going to propose here. No wonder he went through all that trouble to bring me here. He's about to propose. Although the two of them had already decided to get married, Sophie was still anticipating something when she noticed Tristan's actions. I don't need an extravagant proposal, but it looks like Tristan had carefully prepared everything. She felt warmth fill her heart. For a man to be willing to spend his time planning something like this for a woman, that would mean that he's in love with her, right? If he didn't like me, why would he waste time doing this for me? He's a busy man, after all. The restaurant they had dinner at was quite famous in Horrington. However, Tristan's behavior did not seem to hint at a proposal even though they had finished dinner. Sophie could not help but be suspicious. Could it be that I was overthinking? Did he really bring me here to settle the matters at the training camp? Fine. There are some moments when I can be delusional, after all. But that's all right. I'm not someone who would get mad over something like this. Even if he isn't going to propose, he did take the time to prepare all these, and I'm grateful for it. After dinner, the two of them left the restaurant. Tristan then brought her across the street and wandered around. Just where is he going? However, when they reached a familiar alley, Sophie realized she was not delusional. It was the same alley where she had saved him. Everything he had done on that day was really to propose to her. The initially poorly lit alley had been decorated with fairy lights. There were also fresh roses neatly arranged on both sides of the road. A bicycle was leaning against the wall nearby. If I'm not wrong, that bicycle is the one I used to ride. A bouquet of beautifully arranged roses was also sitting in the basket at the front of the bicycle. Oh, Tristan. The way he proposes is so touching. Sophie, did you know? I felt distraught when someone plotted against me. You also know that I'm not someone who forgives easily. However, now that I think about it, I'm grateful to that person. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have come to this alley, nor would I have met you here. Having met you is the best thing that has happened in my life. I promise we'll be happy together in the future. Will you marry me? Tristan thought he had prepared everything well. However, at that moment, he felt anxious. His palms were also sweating from being nervous. He did not even know what he was saying. He was so afraid that he was speaking incoherently. Tristan took the bouquet of roses from the basket and took out a ring box. Then, he got down on one knee and opened the box. Will you allow me to stay by your side for the rest of your life? I won't let go of your hand forever. That kind of proposal seemed old-fashioned to outsiders. However, Sophie was touched because that place was where their fate started intertwining. And today, they were back there. This feeling is simply amazing. Tristan was sweating bullets when he noticed that Sophie was not giving him a response. Oh no. What should I do? Is she not satisfied with the way I proposed? Sophie nodded. I'll marry you. I also want to be with you forever. She was not a dramatic person. Ever since she was sure she wanted to be with him, she was determined to spend the rest of her life with him and never let go of him. Tristan was happy when he heard what she said. He took the ring from the velvet box and slid it onto her finger. He then got up and pushed her against the wall before pressing his lips to hers for a passionate kiss. It was an assertive kiss to stake his claim on her. That's right. From today onward, this woman is mine. No one will be able to steal her away from me. They pulled apart from the kiss. Tristan got on the bicycle and turned to look at her. Get on. Let me take you for a ride. He had prepared all the flowers by the road for her. It was only natural that he would bring her to see them. Although both of them had seen better scenery, the one in front of them was one they would never forget. Sophie sat sideways on the bicycle and wrapped both her arms around his waist as she leaned her head on his back. Tristan rode the bicycle and made his way forward. Tristan was not satisfied with the proposal today but had no other ideas on how to do it. He had also done his research on the internet and thought of doing something extravagant. However, he chose to return to the place where they had first met in the end. Although it was not a perfect proposal, he was elated at that moment. He sat at the front and rode the bicycle while she sat behind him and enjoyed the ride. This kind of feeling is not that bad. It was a very long alley. They were met with passers-by staring at them when they rode out of the alley. This man looks so handsome, but he's smiling like an idiot. Wow, the woman behind him looks beautiful. She has such soft and gentle features. Many passers-by could not help but admire the couple. So this is love. Sometimes, love was something that was very simple. Sophie took a shower when they returned to the hotel. Her lips were still curved into a smile. She felt that Tristan was truly happy today. She was drying her hair with a towel when she heard a knock on the door. She opened it to see Tristan leaning against the door frame. Sophie, what should I do? I'm so excited that I can't sleep. Can you stay up and talk to me? It was slightly past 10 at night. Indeed, it was still too early for bed. Sophie had no objections to that. She nodded and allowed him to enter. Are you that thrilled? He had been grinning from ear to ear ever since their return. Is he that easily satisfied? Why have I never realized that? Tristan pulled her into his embrace and rested his chin on her head. Then, he grunted solemnly in response. He was that enraptured and easily contented. Anything was worth it to him as long as he could stay by her side. I'm very happy too. Sophie unhesitatingly admitted her thoughts as well, expressing her heartfelt stance from when she knew he was going to propose to the magical moment when he did. She was delighted with everything he did. Really? He tightened his arms around her. What should I do? I feel like doing it with her right now instead of waiting any longer. This feeling is intensifying exponentially. Sophie took the initiative this time and kissed his lips gently. At that instant, she was no different from an alluring vixen. No one was able to resist her charm. Unwittingly, their postures changed. She lay on the couch while he got on top of her. The couch was cramped. She was pinned under him, and the two indulged themselves at the moment. He kissed every inch of her body. So, this is what it feels like to be doted on by someone. At that moment, Tristan was truly unwilling to hold back further, but he had been enduring the temptation for so long, so how could he give in now? Sophie curved her lips into a playful smile at the sight of his demeanor. I love you, Tristan. In fact, she didn't mind. If he wanted, she was willing to let him take her. He lowered his head and bit her shoulder. You're such a vixen. I am so hopelessly addicted to you. Still, we can't do this. All this sweet loving will have to wait until our wedding night. How about we move our wedding day forward? Let's not wait until next year. That's too long. I don't want to wait for another second longer. His body was becoming frighteningly hot. Sophie was worried about him. Will you be fine like this? Will he turn impotent if we do this a few more times? I don't think it's a good thing for him always to suppress his libido. I'm fine. Don't worry about me, he uttered without a choice. He rolled over and lay on the couch, allowing her to lean against his chest, so he wouldn't be resting his weight on her in that posture. Tristan prioritized Sophie at all times, fearing he might bring her the slightest discomfort. Yearning to provide her with the best of everything had become a habit for him. They chatted on the couch until Sophie got tired and dozed off while lying on his chest. Only then did silence fill the air inside the room. Tristan felt exceptionally contented to see her sleeping soundly. That was right. He yearned for that form of satisfaction. He liked and loved her and wanted to treasure all the wonderful things about her forever. Tristan didn't attend Lombard Group's annual party. In the end, William took his place and participated in the event. The latter hadn't been to the company in a long time. After Tristan took over Lombard Group, William trusted his son, and let Tristan handle everything without interfering in his decisions. However, he figured he could have grandchildren sooner if his son went on the trip with his daughter-in-law. At that thought, his excitement intensified, so he took the initiative to attend Lombard Group's annual party with Sarah. Dad, we can go back now if you're tired. There are so many people here in the company. They'll manage the situation here. William and Sarah's duty was to make an appearance and greet the guests. The company's higher-ups would deal with the rest of the matters. I'm not tired. Don't worry about me, Sarah. I'm very healthy now, so I'm fine. William was elated whenever he imagined the possible addition of a new member to the Lombard family. He felt invigorated as if he had become younger by a decade or so. Sarah had no choice but to keep him company. Lombard Group's higher-ups are capable of dealing with everything here anyway, so let me know if you're feeling uncomfortable. We'll go back at once. Don't make us worry about you. Sarah could do nothing about her father except listen to him. Okay. That's enough. Why are you nagging me at such a young age? William smiled. He was truly satisfied with where he was in life at that moment. His 3 children were outstanding in their respective fields. He married only 1 wife and raised 3 children in his life. His accomplishments might seem effortless to others since the Lombard family was undoubtedly loaded. However, William had truly spent a lot of effort on his 3 kids, watching them grow up and gradually progress in life toward success. Others wouldn't understand how he felt. Hence, he was genuinely feeling proud at that point in his life. Sarah turned around and saw the person she was reluctant to meet with the most. 1. Why is he here? Lombard Group booked this entire venue today. She didn't find the need to hide her unwillingness to come face to face with him since that was what she had in mind. Sarah whirled around and continued talking to her father. Taking in her reaction, William shook his head. She's clearly unable to forget about him, yet she's still acting stubborn. I don't know what to say to this daughter of mine. She should just admit her love for him. Why is she making things difficult for herself? There's no need to complicate this matter. Sarah, your brother is getting married soon. If you really like Juan, why don't you try to go out with him? William was against the idea of Sarah dating Juan previously because the latter was involved with a small-time actress. William didn't want to see his daughter get hurt. Since Juan had sorted out his relationship status, and Sarah had yet to let go of her feelings for him, William figured they could start afresh. Dad, isn't it nice for me to accompany you at home? Why are you always hoping for me to get married? William let his daughter wrap her arms around his. You'll remain in Gypsdale even after you get married, so you can come home any time. Sarah, it is a must for everyone to get married once in their life. Otherwise, it will become a lifelong regret. William's heart truly ached for Sarah. She's such a brilliant child, yet her love life is unexpectedly rocky. She shook her head. I don't think everyone needs to get married. I'm living a good life now. Others' opinions are irrelevant. Isn't it okay as long as I'm happy? Okay, fine. Whatever floats your boat. Juan knew Sarah was there. He merely wanted to see her initially, but after meeting her, he felt the urge to talk to her. However, Juan had no opportunity to talk to her as she stayed by William's side the whole time. Fortunately, Juan was a man with great patience. He stayed there for a long time and finally waited until she was alone.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.